Okay, good morning. This is Mr. Rolando L. Lopez Jr., or also known as Sir Pokoy. We'll be presenting to you four topics for today. The four theories. We have Leininger, Margaret Newman, Peplau, and Joyce Travelby. So this is an audio-video recording. So if you do not understand the presentation, you could message me directly so that I could address your concerns. So for today, we'll be discussing the four remaining topics on your module number 2. So welcome to the TFN second part. It's the second cycle. My name is Sir Rolando L. Lopez Jr. You can call me Sir Pokoy. Before we start, do not forget to pray the AEF prayer. Our Father in Heaven, we the AEF community consecrate ourselves to the cause of truth, that in all our aspirations we may contribute to the greater good. Born from the heart of the Church, grant us the commitment to serve, promote dignity of every person, and build an authentic human society. May we constantly strive to become mabuti, magaling, at may malasakit sa kapwa, that we may attain development of humanity for your greater glory. Amen. Again, welcome to the second part of TFN. First on our topic is Madeline Leininger's transcultural nursing theory. Madeline Leininger was born in Nebraska in the year 1925 at the St. Anthony School of Nursing in Denver, Colorado. In the year 1950, she received her bachelor's degree in biological science with a minor in philosophy and humanistic studies from Benedictine College in Kansas. She was an instructor, a staff nurse, and head nurse on a medical surgical unit. She also had her psychiatric unit. She was a director of nursing services in Nebraska. In 1954, she received her master's degree in psychiatric nursing from Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. It was during her time in the University of Cincinnati that Leininger noticed a lack of understanding among staff related to cultural factors influencing the behavior of children. She observed differences in responses to care and treatments among children from diverse cultural backgrounds. Later, Leininger taught that the first course in transcultural nursing at the University of Colorado in 1966. So here are the concepts of transcultural nursing. We have the cultural care diversity and universality. These are two theories that has features that distinctly set it apart from other nursing theories. So when you say the cultural care diversity, there is differences of culturals, cultural factors, and when you say universality, it's the similarities of different cultures. Now, it is the only theory that focuses on a holistic approach and comprehensive cultural care. That when you talk about transcultural nursing, you have to focus on the cultural aspects of the client. It can be used in any culture because it includes multiple holistic factors that are universally found across different cultures. First concept would be culture. These are patterned life ways, values, beliefs, norms, symbols, and practices of individuals that are learned, shared, and usually transmitted from one generation to the other. Now, a culture is learned by each generation through both formal and informal life experiences. So when you say formal, these are learned from the school, okay, from different learnings. And when you say informal life experiences, that could be from day-to-day basis, from experience base. The practices of a particular culture often arise because of the group's social and physical environment. These practices and beliefs are adapted over time, but they remain constant as long as they satisfy the needs. The term culture awareness refers to an in-depth self-examination of one's own background, recognizing biases and prejudices and assumptions about other people. For cultural care, these are the subjectively or objectively learned and transmitted values, beliefs, and patterned ways of life that assist, support, or facilitate another individual to maintain well-being and health or to deal with illness, handicap, or death. For the concepts of transcultural nursing, Leininger believed that cultures have both health practices that are specific to one culture and prevailing patterns that are common across cultures. That's why she came up with the terms diversity and universality. So when you talk about cultural care diversity, this refers to the cultural variability or differences in care beliefs, meanings, patterns, values, and life ways within the culture. So it means that we have different cultures among different people. When you talk about culture care universality, this refers to the common, similar, or dominant care beliefs, meanings, patterns, values, and life ways that are manifest among many cultures. I'll give you an example. When you talk about cultural care universality, here in the Philippines, we celebrate fiestas. What made it diverse is that even though we have the same fiestas, we have different ways of celebrating different fiestas. Okay? So when you talk about transcultural nursing, this refers to a formal area of humanistic and scientific knowledge and practices focused on holistic cultural care and competencies to assist individuals or groups of people to maintain or regain their health and to deal with their disabilities or other human conditions in culturally congruent and beneficial ways. We have three modalities of transcultural nursing. We have cultural care preservation or maintenance. This refers to those assistive, supportive, facilitative, or enabling professional actions and decisions that help people of a particular culture to retain or maintain care values and life ways. Now, it retain or preserve relevant care values so that clients can maintain their well-being, recover from illness, or face handicaps and or death. So when you talk about cultural care preservation or maintenance, as a nurse, you are to preserve and or maintain the culture of the patient. Next is cultural care accommodation or negotiation. This refers to assistive, supportive, facilitative, or enabling professional actions and decisions that help people of a particular culture to adapt or negotiate with the others for a beneficial or satisfying health outcome. So if you can't maintain or retain a culture, you either accommodate or negotiate with the client. Next would be cultural care repatterning or restructuring. This refers to assistive, supportive, facilitative, or enabling professional actions and decisions that help people of a particular culture to reorder, change, or modify lifeways for a new, different, and beneficial healthcare pattern. Now, in providing transcultural nursing, the nurse should consider the following concepts. Number one, or letter A culturally congruent care. This means that the care must fit the people's valid life patterns and set of meanings, which is generated from the people themselves rather than based on predetermined criteria. It requires the nurse to assume the role of a learner of the client's culture and co-partners with the client in defining care. It is also assumed that when culturally based nursing care is beneficial and healthy, it continues to the well-being or contributes to the well-being of the client. In contrast, when care is not culturally congruent, the client will demonstrate signs of stress, non-compliance, cultural conflict, and or ethical concerns. Also, you have to provide culturally competent care. So when you say competent care, this refers to the ability of the practitioner or the nurse to bridge cultural gaps in caring, work with cultural differences, and enable clients and families to achieve a meaningful and supportive caring. Culturally competent care requires specific knowledge, skills, and attitudes in the delivery of culturally congruent care and awareness. As we go back, when you talk about congruent care, your clue here would be the care that fits. When you talk about culturally competent care, this would be bridging cultural gaps in caring. So when planning nursing care for a patient, nurses must remember that the care that will be provided must be culture specific. Oftentimes, even the meticulously planned intervention fails, not because the nurse is incompetent, but because it's not culture specific. So you have to provide a specific type of cultural care to your patient. So we have here the following steps that can guide the nurse in providing a transculturally competent care. It's also available on your module. For letter A, you have to consider the administration of medications must take into consideration some of the patient's beliefs and practices because different cultures will have different ways of receiving medications or even in the administration of medication. Letter B, you have to be familiar with some different diseases that are common in different specific races. For letter C, you have to communicate properly and be familiar with common communication process across cultures. And for letter D, dietary modifications must be considered when planning nursing care. Now, the evaluation continues throughout the nursing process and should include feedback from the client and family. Self-evaluation by the nurse is crucial as he or she increases skills for interaction. You should ask the following questions for an evaluation. First, am I open to understanding ways in which the client's values differ from mine? Have I given sufficient attention to communicating with the client with limited language skills? Have I had a successful client's family in the nursing process? Am I incorporating the client's traditional beliefs and practices into nursing therapies? Is my therapeutic relationship with the client grounded on respect for the client regardless of cultural references or differences? So those are the different questions that you should ask for yourself when you become a nurse and you're handling different kinds of patients with different cultures. Next topic will be Margaret Newman. So we end here for the recording.